Hey tribe, how y'all doing? I'm gonna go ahead and drop this RuPaul season 10 episode question mark. Because I don't. I guess it's episode 7 because there's 7 queens left. But no, they didn't start with 10 queens. I don't know, y'all. I'm sorry. Thank you to all my new subscribers. Thank you to everybody who has been faithful even through my little hiccup this week. So I'm going to get this video dropped tonight before I go to bed. I'm going back to work tomorrow. Even though my doctor pulled me out for the whole week, but ain't nobody trying to use up all they leave. You can hear me now, right? So I can go back to work. But anyway, so let me get into this, you guys. So first of all, we knew this was gonna be a share challenge. They announced, you saw the previews from last week. So we start off the episode. Y'all know we start off at the elimination of the last queen. So last week Monique was eliminated, who I really like Monique, and had Monique known the damn words, Vixen would be gone, Monique would still be here. But you know what? If you don't know the words, there ain't shit you can do about it. So I'm gonna go through that real quick. Vixen's still mad, and that's pretty much the extent of that. Eureka, said her little piece. And Vixen had a valid point. Vixen was like, look, I'm entitled to my feelings. Like, I feel like everybody wants me to go home and everybody feels like I'm not good enough to be here and that's my dream. And they were like, that's all of our dreams. And she was like, okay, but let me feel how I feel. And that's valid. I mean, people don't get over that overnight. Like, if that were me, regardless of how I might personally feel about the Vixen, if that were me, I could understand her saying, look, give me a minute. Because I know I'm the same way. Sometimes I'm like, look, give me a minute. Like, I'm pissed. I'll get over it in a minute, but I need some time. And I think that's where Vixen was coming from with that. So, all right, Vixen, I'm going to give you that. The mini challenge was basically, can you take a slap kind of thing? It was like say something nasty to Rue, and then Rue does a little pretend slap gag. Again, I just think they're making these things up, but okay. Because it didn't, I could see if it incorporated into the main challenge, but it really didn't. It was only one performance where I think somebody had to do like a fake slap thingy, mabob. But what was funny, though, because all week long, Asia O'Hare, if you follow her on Twitter, she's been tweeting out Asia O'Hare's drag race. And so I was like, okay, what happens when this episode, you knew it was connected to this episode. So what happened was when Rue was doing the fake slap thing, she actually slapped Asia and slapped the shit out of her. You know what I'm saying? And so Asia made the joke. She was like, I'm suing. It's about to be the Asia O'Hare drag race show. And it was funny. She took it. She gave you a lot of drama with it, but she took it and it was fun. Matter of fact, the next person up, she let Asia do the fake slap. Rue was like, come on up here, Asia. You get to do this one. And Asia actually won the mini challenge because who else was going to win it at that point, But it was cute. So the maxi challenge was the share Rue musical. Sorry, I had to take a pause for the cause. But it was the Rue musical share unauthorized or unofficial Rue musical. And so they did share a tribute to Cher, and they did it. Each one of her decades was represented because Cher been doing this from the '60s, and Cher's never been like an idol for me. Like some people like idolize her, but I've always loved her, and I love her story. Her being a runaway at 15, hooking up with Sonny. In the era of Me Too, Sonny ass would be under the jail because Sonny was like in his late 20s. She was like 16 when they hooked up. But those was the 60s. So anyway, Cameron Michaels is the 60s Cher. 70s Cher was, well, I'm not sure if Vixen was the late 60s, early 70s, but she did the iconic, which that's going to come back because even I knew about this. Vixen didn't seem to think it was a big deal or very iconic. But when she danced with the Jackson 5 and she did the robot with them and everything. And I've always seen that clip, like forever. I've seen that clip. A lot of times if you see any type of Jackson 5 documentary or tribute or Cher tribute, that clip is always in there. So I don't know what the fuck Vixen was talking about. But anyway, Monet does a 70s Cher, but like the glamorous, she does the iconic where she wears the Indian headpiece. And I'm not sure if that's late 70s, early 60s. I mean, late 60s, early 70s, but it's that era. After the Sonny and Cher show. Or during the Sonny and Cher show. It's during the Sonny and Cher show. Then Vixen picks up with, because one of Vixen's lines is about a divorce. So Vixen is the Cher show, because after Sonny and Cher, when Sonny and Cher were getting divorced, then Cher had her own show. So it was the Cher show. Then you had Aquaria did disco. Asia O'Hare did the Hollywood Moonstruck version of Cher. Eureka did the Rockstar 80s. Now this where I was like, y'all threw a lot of fucking shade, but Eureka did the damn thing. But they had Eureka wear the outfit, the iconic "If I Could Turn Back Time" outfit with the ass out and the rubber band strap. Y'all was shady for that, but she turned that shit out. Fuck y'all. And then Cracker did like the comeback Cher, shared that last hit album, "Do You Believe in Love?" I love that song. Anyway, but they called that the comeback Cher, which I didn't think Cher had to come back from a motherfucking thing, but okay, because that's what you do when you're a legend. You don't come back, you just drop something. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not a comeback. You just dropping shit for motherfuckers. Like, I'm just going to drop this single to make the girls happy. But that's how I see it. Anyway, so in the workroom, Cracker tells her story. Every week everybody kind of tells their story. So this week Cracker tells her story, and she talks about how poor they were and how it almost sounds like she grew up like sort of almost in a cult. But she said they got to watch TV 1 hour a week, that they were so poor they ate she said they were called the shiners at the grocery store, the canned goods where the labels had fallen off, and they sell them at a discount because you really don't know what you're buying. And I was like, damn. You know what I'm saying? That's like a hell of a surprise. Like, you don't know if you're getting ravioli or fucking beans. You know what I mean? That's rough. And she said that the only toys they really had were toys that they made themselves. She said her mom made toys, and then her and her sister made toys. And I was just like, wow. Like that's deep. When you talk about poor, there are definitely levels to it. And, my story, one person's poor story doesn't necessarily need to outshine another person's poor story, because poor is poor. You know what I mean? But so they're in the workroom, and they going through their wigs, and they're starting to practice, and everybody's doing their Cher impression and everything. Excuse me, y'all. And Ru comes through. Ru's going through everybody, just kind of figuring out where you are with it. What are you thinking about? Giving them tricks and stuff like that, tips and tricks. And she gets to Vix. She goes to Eureka first. Well, she goes she goes to everybody, but she gets to Eureka first, and she's kind of like, look, I know things got a little testy last week between you and Vixen. Have you guys had a come to Jesus moment? Have y'all kind of worked that out? And Eureka was like, no. Eureka was like, I've just come to the conclusion, maybe we just weren't meant to be friends. It is what it is. Eureka's like, I know I can be a bit much, but, I feel like I'm a positive person, and I'm not bringing any negativity, and it is what it is. There you go, Eureka. You can't be friends with everybody. Fuck that bitch. Like, it is what it is. She ain't stopping your coin. Boom. Move on. So when she went to Vixen, she asked Vixen pretty much the same thing. Like, how you feeling? Where are you with this? Now, and Vixen is always so fucking defensive. Like, she even kind of got snappy with Ru, and that's when I knew. I was like, your ass gonna be in the bottom. Like, you better knock the hell out of this performance, or you're going to be at the bottom. Because you can snap at a lot of people on this show. You can get nasty with a lot of people on this show. But the person you can't get nasty with is the person whose name is in the fucking title. And, Ru asked her, can you sing? Oh, because that's the whole gag with this whole thing is that they're not lip syncing. They are singing. And so a lot of them got into their own head. I'm going to get to that in a second. But that's the whole gag of this, is that they are actually singing. So she asked her, she was like, do you sing? And she was like, no, I lip sync. That's how I make my living. Bitch, we know that. Most drag queens lip sync. That's how they make their living. We know that. But that's not what she asked you. She asked you, do you sing? Like, can you sing? Then she asked her, oh, fuck. What did she ask her? She asked her something else, and Vixen kind of snapped at her. And I was just like, who who the fuck do you think you are? That you snapping at Rue like that? Like, did you forget this is her show? Did you forget that piece? But she's, I wish I could remember, y'all. I will rewind it, but I don't want to hold y'all up. But, she said something else real snappy to her. Damn it. She asked her, did she lip sync? Oh, well, she asked her, have you ever done a Cher impersonation? And she was like, yeah, but I haven't done it as Cher. She said, I've done Cher songs as the vixen performing a Cher song. And Rue was just like, it was the way she said it, and Rue was just like, okay. Like, you could see her face was like, oh, all right. So then she asked her the same thing about Eureka. And Vixen was just like, no, no, we ain't made up, and that's just that. Like, I don't want to make up with her. And, Rue was like, you are very combative. And she kind of twisted it a little bit, but that was her way, I think, of letting her know, I know that you back here causing fucking problems. Like, I might not have known it before, but I know it now. And, of course, Vixen was like, well, I just realized that people back here just don't like me, and I don't have no friends, and that's just that. Like, I know I don't have any friends now. And so, anyway. So, they go to do their choreography, and it is none other than the Todrick Hall. Love Todrick Hall. Todrick Hall actually responded to my first Friday Night Roundup when I addressed the situation between him and that other guy. I'm not going to say his name. And he actually dropped a comment, y'all. And I was like, what? Todrick Hall, what? So anyway, but I love him. I loved him before that, but I love him even more now. But he did the choreography, and of course he did his thing. Like, I like how he's honest but not nasty, because you can be both. He's honest with them, but he's not nasty with them. And when it got to Eureka, Cameron was in his head a little bit. Pause, rewind. Back to the workroom. As Rue was going around the room, I got hung up on the Eureka Vixen thing. But as Rue was working around the room, everybody was sort of downplaying their talents and talking themselves out of what they could do. And I get it. When you are challenged to take on a personality as huge as Cher, I get it. But at the same time, you have to know your own worth and understand that, no, you're not Cher, but you have the talent to do a good impersonation of Cher. And so everybody, as Rue was going around, everybody was like, oh, I don't do this. Oh, I don't think I can do that. Oh, I'm not good enough for this. And Rue was like, look, y'all got to stop. Y'all get out your own fucking head. And she kind of paused and said that to everybody, because come to find out, Monet is a trained opera singer. Like, she went to college for that. And she was like, yeah, but I'm a baritone, so, bitch, you are an opera singer. You better throw that baritone in there and keep it moving. So anyway, back to the stage. So Cameron starts off, and she starts off really shaky, again, in her own head. And Todrick was like, look, you set the tone for the whole performance. I'm going to need you to get it together, practice, know your words, and I'm going to need you to be ready to go. No pressure. But Cameron was like, okay, all right, I got it. And Vixen, when they do these, they edit it to show everybody's kind of struggling. They didn't really show a lot of Monet, which made me think Monet kind of had her thing down. They showed a little bit of her. But the people they showed the most, of course, they showed Vixen was struggling, Cameron, Cracker, and then they show Eureka. Eureka was struggling a lot, and Todrick was like, look, get out your own head. Like, don't start that shit. Get out of your own head. You got this. And again, I love how Todrick he's straight, but he's not nasty. But he let Eureka know, look, don't do this to yourself. Don't do it again. Because, the last time Todrick was a couple of episodes back where Eureka was in her head. Like, I want to say that first or second challenge where Eureka was damn near about to go home. She had to lip sync. So, but Eureka in the workroom, Monet goes up to Eureka, kind of gives her a hug, and he's like, girl, what's up? What's going on? And Eureka tells the story of how she sort of had a situation with her dad when she was younger, and how he kind of made her sing on command, and she couldn't do it. And it's sort of a thing that sort of stuck in her head. And it's like a mental block. And she was like, I just gotta get over it. I just gotta get out of my head, and I gotta do it. And I'm like, yeah, bitch, you just gotta do it. But But Asia did something that I thought was a class act. She went up to Vixen and she was like, you got time? I know you're doing your makeup, but you got a few minutes. And Vixen was like, yeah, I have a few minutes. And she pulled her aside, pulled her away from everybody. She didn't get loud. She didn't make a scene about it. And she talked to her and she was like, look, she said, I want you to figure out what is it about Eureka you don't like. Is it Eureka that you don't like, or is it what you think Eureka represents? Because if it's something that you think Eureka represents, it's not fair to her to hold her accountable for something she hasn't done. And she used the example of how Vixen brought up some racial things that happened to her in Chicago. And she said, and Asia went on to explain in her confessional, she said, Vixen has what we call the angry black woman syndrome. And it's funny because I don't know if you guys remember a few, maybe the first couple of episodes where Vixen was like, you're not going to turn me into the angry black woman. But the way Asia said it, I received it. She was like, do I think it's fair what the Vixen is doing to Eureka? No. But do I understand where Vixen is coming from? Yes. Because, she didn't get into, because as a black man or a black, woman, black man, I'm sorry. This is what we deal with. She just said, I understand it. But she had a really valid talk. It was so good. I really loved that moment. I really do. But Asia was like, I want you to really figure that out. You figure out whether your anger towards Eureka is something that she really truly has done, or what you think she represents. And then Vixen went on to say that she feels like the Vixen is sliding through the competition. But I don't think that's true. I think Eureka is working her butt off. I just think she's good at it. Does she have a little bit of an advantage because she was on the season last year? Yeah, she does. But it's not the first time that Rue has allowed this to happen. It's just the first time that the person she let come back has been this successful. Because she's done it at least twice. I know she did it with Shangela. Hell, I think she did it with Shangela twice. And I believe she did it with somebody else. The top of my head, it's not ringing the top of my head. But what is bothering me about that, though, is, like I said, I feel like you're holding that against her, and that's not fair. But anyway, it was a great conversation. And then she went on to say to her, she said, look, the other thing I want you to do too, stop fooling yourself into thinking you don't care what people think about you. Because again, that's valid. Because if you didn't care, you wouldn't get this angry, and that's just that. And I mean, I've been there and done that. I'd be like, I don't care about these bitches. I don't care what these people think. But I did because they were taking up the time. When you really don't care, they really take up no time. They really take up none of your energy. As an educator, trust and believe. When I first started teaching, honey, that stuff would stick with me all night. I come home upset, worry about this happened, worry about what that happened between the teachers and the students and the teachers I'm at this point, when I leave, I clock out. I clock out of that shit. Now, that doesn't mean I don't work from home, but I don't worry about other people when I'm home. I don't even have most people I work with phone number. Because whatever you need to say to me, you can say it while I'm in the building. And it took a long time to get to that point. And I still have, there are people that I do care. But overall, yeah, I can't do it. Anyway, so we get to the Rue musical, Share Unauthorized. It was okay. You know what I mean? It was okay. Like, it didn't wow me. It didn't make me want to fast forward. But it was okay. I think Cameron did do a really good job. She did set the tone. She had a lot of the Cher mannerisms down. I agree with the judges mostly on this. So let me say that. Monet did a really good job. And what Carson Presley was one of the judges. And he said, it's really hard to do a really great impression. What he was saying is that it's hard sometimes to do an impersonation of somebody when you don't look like them. Because it's not like Monet could put white face on, right? And it's not like she has the body type or the physical features of a Cher. But she did a really good job of embodying a Cher impression. She knew her words. She had her dance steps. She did a really good job. Um, Vixen, not so much. She didn't do any Cher. She did her dance moves. She went through the motions, but she didn't perform. You know what I mean? Um, Eureka started off slow, but she ended off. You could see she started off. She was still in her head, but then that Eureka flipped on, and she gave it to y'all, and she gave you the Cher with the ass out, and she did it. She did that thing. And I think that if Eureka had been there from the beginning to the end, she might have been in the top again this week. She was safe though. Um, who else? And who was it? Aquaria. Ooh, they didn't like her performance too much, but they liked the fact that she sort of ad-libbed her way through it. Cracker, they didn't like her performance. I didn't like it either. Asia did not do well at all. Asia forgot her words, but Asia did a good job of kind of ad-libbing. You know, she even threw that in there like, I just fucked up them words. Like, she did it. She owned it, but it wasn't good. It wasn't good, and I don't know if an extra day of rehearsal would have helped. I just think that it wasn't good. I think she got it in her head that she couldn't do it, and that was it. You know, once she decided this isn't something I can do, like Ruth said, she got in her own head, and then she couldn't recover. It was just nothing she could do to get out of that, really. The one thing I'm gonna wait to the end. And I haven't looked at Untucked yet. So if something happened to Untucked that I'm not addressing, that's why. So anyway, then now they're being critiqued. The runway was glitter explosion or whatever, glitterama, glitter whatever. It was okay. You know what I mean? Cameron, I liked her look. Cameron is creeping on y'all bitches. Cameron going to end up in the fucking top 3. Y'all keep playing with her. Vixen, her look was okay. It was cute. It was creative. It was Vixen. You know what I mean? It was Vixen. Eureka, I loved her look. I did. I might have a bias towards Eureka. Let me just be honest, because she's a big girl and she's representing, and I think she's doing a good job. I was worried about her coming back because I know she struggled last year, but I think the one thing that I like that Eureka's doing is she's taking criticism, she's taking critiques, and she's growing. And in any of these competition shows, that's what the judges want to see. From I look at the Tim Gunn show, the Heidi show. Y'all know what I'm talking about. The design show. Oh shit. I look at that show. I look at America's Next Top Model. I used to look at American Idol. That's what they want to see. The judges want to see from week to week. Not that you are hitting it out the park every week or you're perfect every week, but are you taking the critiques? Are you incorporating it, and are you growing? Are you becoming a better performer? And I think Eureka is doing that. I think Cameron is doing that. I think Monet is doing that. And so those are the people that you're going to have to kind of look out for. Asia, I like you, but you're making me a little nervous because either you do one or the other well. It doesn't seem like you do both well. Like either you do really well in the challenges, but then your runway is not that great, or your runway is really great and then your challenges aren't that great. So I need you to get it right here. But you won some, girl. I ain't said you ain't slacking. Who was the one? Was one of the runway looks that almost had like a Catholic look to it, and they really liked it. I can't remember if that was Aquaria or Cracker. It was Aquaria. It was Aquaria, I believe. I believe it was Aquaria. I liked her look too. Cracker's look I wasn't crazy about. So then we get to the critiques. The only critique that really stood out to me was Vixen's critique and Eureka's critique, and this is what I'm going to say. Vixen and Eureka showed me the example of what I mean when I say to you guys that you don't have to whine. Vixen did that whine and complain and playing victim shit because Vixen found everything wrong with her performance. See, what people don't understand, or what these people don't understand, is when y'all start complaining about certain things, you are actually insulting them. Now, do I think that RuPaul sits on every single production meeting and actually points out what every person should do and all of that? Probably not. I mean, I don't believe she might, but I'm saying she may not. However, when they pick that you're going to play this share and you're going to play that share and you're going to do this and do that, there's a method to the madness. They don't just throw it around. Just like I think with Eureka, they gave Eureka probably one of the hardest shares for her body type to see what she would do. What are you gonna rise to the occasion, or are you gonna play victim and be like, I'm the big girl and y'all gave me the outfit where everything's hanging out? But she never did that. She never complained about that, well, at least not on camera. And I'm sure if they had, they would have made sure you saw that. But Vixen was like, well, it's hard for me to do shareisms when my wig was the short wig. I couldn't fling my hair. And, I don't think that's one of the most iconic share moments. And, like, she had all these excuses. And Rue was like, it's iconic to me. Like, everybody knows that moment with Cher dance with the Jackson 5. Like, and it was. Like I said, I've seen it a million times. It's a very iconic moment. I get it that you're young. So maybe because I wasn't there when it happened, but I've seen it in any type of Michael Jackson montage. You're going to see it. Any type of Cher montage, you're going to see it. But anyway, let me hurry up, y'all. This thing is getting long. But when they got to Eureka and they gave the critique of Eureka starting slow, what Eureka was saying was, and they said, what was going on with that? This is the way you handle stuff without complaining and without playing victim. Now, Eureka told the story to Monet in the workroom about how it was a mental thing with her father and how it became a physical altercation between her and her dad when her dad tried to make her sing and she wouldn't sing, right? That could have been a perfect opportunity for Eureka to tell that story on the runway and really try to get that sympathy vote. She didn't do it. She said, I got in my own head, and there was something there. There's something that happened to me that kind of made me a little in my own head about it. But I just had to get out and figure it out and rise to the occasion. And I got myself together. Boom. You let them know that there was a reason why it happened, but you also let them know that you got up off your ass and you got out of your head and you got it done. Boom. That is how you take criticism. That is how you share a story without playing victim. And that's how you share a story without turning it into a huge event. Boom. Boom, boom. All right. For the first episode since the first week, I ain't hear no Vanjie. And if y'all heard it, tell me, because I still had the baby, so maybe I missed it. I didn't hear Vanjie. And I'm a little upset by it. Like, I thought that was going to be the running joke for the rest of the season. I'm a little upset that we got a whole episode with no Vanjie. Again, if it happened in Untucked, then I missed it. Because I haven't looked at Untucked yet. I'm about to look at Untucked now. Because I want to load this before I go to bed. So it takes a few minutes for it to load. See how much I love y'all? I want to make sure I load it before I go to bed tonight. So I'm going to look at Untucked while this is loading. Anyway. The tops was Monet. I think if Monet had a better runway, because I liked Monet's runway until the judges told me everything that was wrong with her runway. How you could see the tape and all of that. And so I think they liked, because it was a jumpsuit and it was bad. It looked good. I loved it. But I think they would have liked it better had they not been able to see all of her tape. And had she done a better runway, she would have won, because they really loved her share. But she was safe. Cameron won, and like I said, y'all better watch Cameron. Y'all better watch her ass. The song, so the bottoms were Vixen and Asia, and it was funny that Asia and Vixen had to lip sync against each other after Asia really sat down and tried to have a come to Jesus moment with Vixen. But Asia was like, look, I love Vixen and all, but honey. And again, wasn't impressed with the lip sync. The song was Groove Was in the Heart, which is one of my favorite songs. And so I was in it, I was hitting, and y'all remember Rue was in the video, so that's one of her, and it was okay. Again, it was nothing spectacular about the lip sync. Asia, you did okay. Like, she was talking about how she could out lip sync anybody on here. Shit, but that lip sync you did tonight, you can't out lip sync Monet. Now, we just seen Monet lip sync twice, and that bitch can lip sync for her life. You can't out lip sync Monet with that performance you did. It was good. It was okay. It was quirky. But, and I loved her runway too. I'm sorry. I did like Asia's runway. But you didn't give me nothing. Now, you outdanced Vixen. Because Vixen, I think part of it is the third week in a row we've seen Vixen. She did the same tricks. She did come out of her dress. Which was, again, it was cute. But it wasn't nothing spectacular. Like, you came out of your dress and you performed in half a dress with your panties. So was it really planned, or was it just a two-piece dress that you took the bottom off? But okay. And then of course she didn't do the whole roll across the stage thing. She didn't do a death drop, at least not that I saw. But it was just lackluster. Like again, it's the third week in a row that the lip sync is giving me nothing. At this point, I really wish that Rue had done a keep both of them when Monet went against Dusty Ray Bottoms, because they lip synced their asses off. And I kind of wish Rue had done a Shantae, both of you stay. And I think last week she should have done a Sashay, both of y'all sashay away with Vixen and Monique. Both of them could have gone last week, as far as I'm concerned. So anyway, ding dong, the bitch is dead. Vixen is finally gone. Asia won. And we're going to see what happens next week. So I'm sorry, ran a little long, but it was a lot going on, y'all. I'll see y'all later. Peace.